What I want to do here is give an introduction to the Lean Canvas, which is a powerful tool for describing your business. What I find is when you're kind of going from this initial idea, this allows you to take it to the next level of detail. Very often when we start company formation, typically the first thing that comes out is, oh, well, you need to make a business plan. Like, you're not a business until you have a business plan. And often those business plans take the form of 20, 30, 50, 100-page Word documents with a bunch of Excel spreadsheets, because the notion is, well, you got to know kind of what your profit and loss is going to be, and 3 years out, can you be profitable, what kind of money you're going to make. And to some degree, that is totally true and appropriate for what I call spreadsheet businesses. So these are businesses like lemonade stands, lawn mowing companies, companies where there's a really predictable market demand, there's a very predictable and typically low margin in how the company operates. At the most grand scale, to me, airlines are an example of a spreadsheet business, which is if you put in all of the inputs and outputs of the business into a spreadsheet, all of the ranges are pretty highly known, and with some math, you can get out very much a profit and loss view of the business. The challenge with high-tech businesses and businesses that are leveraging some kind of asymmetric advantage in the market is they tend not to behave well as spreadsheet businesses. The inputs aren't particularly well known, and the outputs are not particularly well known. And if you think about early business planning, the idea of a business plan, which is totally appropriate, is create this plan to take the risk out of your business. In dynamic high-tech businesses, that same risk exists, which is you don't know exactly how the business is going to turn out, the dynamics around it. The challenge, though, is that planning will not get you any closer, or will maybe marginally get you closer to the answer. The real practice that's important is building evidence, because only evidence will help you de-risk the business. To me, the power of the Lean Canvas is it is designed to help you de-risk the things that matter the most in a business in the early stages that a long business plan isn't very helpful at doing. Because what you're doing with one of those longer business plans is you're fundamentally replacing uncertainty with false precision, which doesn't actually lower the risk to your business. So what we're going to learn today is a methodology and a technique which allows you to take fundamental risks out of your business in a very rapid, iterative way where the document that you're using matches up the fidelity in your understanding of the business. So at the very beginning, what does that all mean? It means you don't understand much about your business, so you need a very lightweight tool to help you rapidly iterate on that plan, not to really build the business yet, but to systematically take the uncertainty and risk out of the business. We've been talking a lot about beating the crappiness out of your ideas. Now we're getting into the techniques of how do you beat the crappiness out of your ideas. And a big piece of that first is articulating, well, what is your conception of the business? What is it? And then doing it in a lightweight way where you're not attached to it, and you can iterate through and replace your best guess with the best evidence you can create as fast as you can. Because the other problem with a nice, big, polished business plan is you tend to get attached to it. Like, it takes you a lot of time to work on it. You get super proud of the Excel spreadsheets. You look at your 3-year pro forma, which is that 3 years out, the prediction of exactly what the business is going to do. And you're like, wow, that looks like a really great business. Like, that's an awesome business. The problem is it's all false precision, meaning it's just a guess built on top of a guess, multiplied by a guess, divided by another guess. And all that math is just sort of combinatorial guesses, which means the answers have a huge, huge margin of error. So the trick is to not get less margin of error by polishing up the equations in the spreadsheet. You reduce that margin of error by getting out of the building and doing the work to build evidence around how your business is going to work. Best method, as I mentioned, is the Lean Canvas. This comes from Ash Maurya. He wrote a book called Running Lean, which is a fantastic introduction to lean startup and how to use these techniques to go from an idea, or as he says, iterate from plan A to a plan that works. He then recently wrote another book called Scaling Lean, which takes these concepts and applies them into successful, growing, scaling businesses. So this is some great work out there. And specifically what we're going to go over here is the Lean Canvas. This is his tool, a very simple 9-box worksheet that allows you to articulate and visualize your business in a very lightweight way. This is built off of the business model canvas, which was Alexander Osterwalder's PhD work. And that work was around how do we create a lightweight tool to describe any business that exists, and really think about categorizing businesses based on fundamental dimensions. So the challenge there was, what are the fundamental dimensions? And then how do we create a tool to catalog all these businesses? The problem is that really started out in the domain of known businesses, businesses that are already running and working. Ash created this derivative to help you articulate emerging businesses, or when you're taking an idea from wherever it is today in some primordial soup and turning it into the process of making that business work.